guys, I decided to take it a little bit easier with the vlogs, so I'm gonna do one every 2 days, and because of that I want to keep them shorter when I record every day. So this is just for me to check in at the Venetian and see you later when I will take a break and discuss a few hands. Alright guys, we are back. We are in the dinner break. My lovely baby brought me dinner. We already ate, so now it's a good moment to share a few hands. Many hands in these 3 hours since I started this session. Oh, by the way, now I have the microphone, which I think was too loud, I mean too far away from my mouth, especially here in the food area. So now I just have the microphone like a reporter. Okay, so the first hand, we have King 8 suited in the button and we open to 300, only the big blind calls. Jack 7-3 with 2 diamonds, we c-bet half pot and we get called. The turn is a 9 and we double barrel with 1000 into a $1,200 pot, and we get a call, and the river is a 6, so we missed completely. We had also a gut shot on the turn and a flush draw and one overcard, but we miss all the draws, and we have to decide now, do we bluff or we don't bluff. The player was a recreational player, so I'm not very thrilled about bluffing him on the river when the flush misses, so I decide to give up this hand. And unfortunately he had 7-5 offsuit, so he had second pair on the flop and third pair on the turn, and he wins this one. He probably would have folded, but like I said, I don't really like bluffing recreational players on the river when the flush missed and I have the flush draw. So I decided to check back. If I bluff, I like to bluff other hands that don't block his folding range, so hands that don't have a diamond in this case. Moving on to the next hand, middle position opens to 300 and we call in the big blind with Jack 9 of clubs, and the flop comes King 6-3 with nothing for us. We check, he checks back. The turn we decide to bluff, it's King 6-3. The turn comes another 3 and we decide to bluff the turn, and we bluff an ace river and we get called by pocket 10s, so we lose this one too. They called, I think this was the same player from the last hand, so we lose this one again. So these were the hands, the interesting hands that we played so far. So I'm gonna jump back into the session, and at the end of the session we'll do another update with a few more hands. A new day, and we're talking about the same session that we talked earlier, which for me was yesterday, for you was just 5 seconds ago. So I told you I had a bunch of hands and many things happened. I have 2 more hands I want to talk to you about. Both of those hands are ace-king related. So here's this hand. There's an open in the cutoff to 300. The button, he puts a 1000 chip, says raise, but he says a little bit too late. So he puts the chip and then he says raise. So he wants to make a 3-bet, but he's not allowed to because you have to say before you throw 1 chip. Otherwise, 1 chip, it's just a call, as you probably know already. So he calls, but with the intention of 3-betting. So we have to have in mind that he has a 3-betting range, and we are in the small blind and we have ace-king suited. Now what do we do here? Of course, maybe if we were in position on him, maybe we can consider calling. It's ace king suited, it's very high on our range, and I don't think we can underplay this, especially in the small blind where we have to squeeze in, right? So I make it 1500, and the initial raiser falls, and this guy who made it 300 from the bottom, he now comes on top and makes it 4000. And of course the decision is already taken and I have to move all in now. If I remember well, I only had like 10,000 or 11,000 behind. Yeah, 10,000. I had 10,000 behind. So I have to consider, do I have enough fold equity here? Because if I don't, then me pushing all in, it's the same as him pushing all in and me calling. So I have to think, if I were to call an all in from 1500 to 10,000, is this a good situation to call? Has ace king enough equity against his shoving range? And the answer is, against a really tight shoving range like ace king and queens plus, probably ace king suited doesn't have enough equity to call. I should put that into Power Rekilov and analyze it, but from my experience, from my past simulations, ace king doesn't have enough equity when having to call 8500 into a 20k pot. So basically you need 42% equity, and I don't think you have against a really tight range, unless one of these two things happen, at least one. Unless he has a looser range and he calls lighter, so unless he calls with ace queen, then we definitely have equity. Or unless we have some fold equity when we shove, so basically we don't call the all-in because by shoving we have some fold equity. And it's hard to have fold equity when someone puts in 4000 and he only has 10k or 6k left. But certain players, in some rare occasions, will find some folds here, and I'm not sure if they will fold like jacks or queens or ace king, which they shouldn't when they invest 4000, but maybe they just bluff, you know. So that never happens with some live players that I know and that you probably know in your casino. With some other guys this happens, and this looked like a guy that was splashing around, and I thought maybe I have some fold equity sometimes. And at the end of the day, it's ace king suited, so fuck it, if he has ace or kings, that's it. Let's shove, and what does he do? He folds. So yeah, it's a what the fuck moment for me, but I'll take it. I'll take the money. I'm very happy with taking it down pre-flop, no rake, 4k, just put it in the bank 100% of the time when he folds. That's better than taking variance with a flip for a larger amount. Okay, and now let's move to the other ace king hand. So there's this hyper aggressive regular who 3-bets a ton. I've seen him 3-betting 8-5 suited, 7-3 suited, queen 9 off, stuff like that. So he's very aggro with 3-betting. I don't know about 4-betting though, because I don't have a sample with him. I haven't seen him in 4-bet spots. That being said, the hand goes as follows. He isolates 500 from low jack or middle position, and I'm in the small blind with ace king suited, and I make it 1800. So I have 16,000 behind. I think I should have made it at least 2,000, but 18, it's okay. It's more than 10% of my stack, so I think it's decent. But being out of position, I think I can go just a little bit more, maybe 2,000. That's not important here. So I make it 1800, and it folds to him, and he 4-bets to 4,800. and gets back to me, and my logic is, of course, he has in comparison with the previous ace king hand, now having enough stack depth here, I think I have fold equity when I shove ace king, so I'm way more comfortable shoving ace king here for 16,000 over a 5,000 bet versus shoving for 10,000 over 4,000 bet. So I think I have way more fold equity here, and given the fact that he's a really aggressive player, I think he can have a lot of bluffs, and I'm pretty sure of that. So I think I have a ton of fold equity here. And it turns out that I don't, because he ended up calling with queen jack offsuit. But that's the other side of the coin. If I don't have fold equity, then I have a lot of equity when called. Yeah, he calls queen jack off, and I have ace king of clubs. The flop comes queen 7-5 with queen 7 of clubs, and I'm okay, give me a king, an ace, a club, anything. But it breaks out, and he wins. He wins a 32k pot with queen jack offsuit, all in preflop. So if you ever wonder how are the games in Macau, even though I've been complaining in the past like 2 weeks since I started the vlog, basically complaining about how bad the games were, they're not that bad. This stuff like this still happens on a daily basis. This is one of the higher stakes regulars. So this guy plays 100, 200 regular. I've seen him a lot in there. So if he's doing dumb shit like this, then imagine that everyone is basically like a ticking bomb waiting to explode and spew away some money. Even though they might look like they play tight and no one is really splashing around every hand, but opportunities still exist. Unfortunately, this time the opportunity was there, but the chance was not. And as you know, you sometimes need some chance in poker. It's frustrating. I haven't run good since I started playing this month here in Macau, but I've gone through way worse periods than that, and these don't affect me that much. So I will keep on playing, put in the volume, play solid, and I know the results will come. So usually this is the part where I come in and share a few hands, but I have no hands today because I haven't played any hand. Why is that? So I came in at the casino at 4 p.m. and my position on the waiting list at that time was 61. Okay, I've been there before. I said I'm gonna go upstairs to the food court, take a seat at a table, take out my laptop, do some work, and I'll be back in 2 hours. I'll wait another hour, hour, and then in no time basically I will be playing. But I went upstairs for 2 hours. I came back, my position was 51, so I only advanced 10 positions in 1 hour. That's not what I was expecting. And now it's 3.5 hours later, and almost 4 hours. Yeah, it's 4 hours later, and my position on the list is 30. If it continues like this, I have to wait another 4 hours to get into a game, which that will be almost 12 at night. Even if I wait only 2 hours from now on, that's still too late to get into a game if I want to go to bed earlier and wake up early tomorrow. So nothing that I can do. I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna try to sleep early and to go tomorrow earlier. One friend of mine, he came in at 2 p.m. and so now it's 7:30 and he's still He's still on the waiting list. I think his position now is 7. To wait 5 hours, 6 hours to get into a game, that's too much. So for sure I have to come before 2 p.m. and I would say before 12, so that I can get the seat. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to bed early, and tomorrow don't do anything but go to play poker.